So, hopefully this is working and I'm streaming. It says that I am, so I'm going to go ahead and pretend like I am. Alright, so what I'm going to do today is, I've been working on this RC car game for a long time, off and on, off and on. Today I want to continue working on it. I actually want to finish this thing and get it out there because I think it has some potential. And you could also play the game work in progress also on my website, codechomper.com/RC Offroad. Let me bring that up so you can see what I'm talking about. codechomper.com, RC Offroad. There's the URL there, and I will post it in the chat too. So you can have that. Hopefully everyone can see that. Well, here's the game. I'm going to play it in Unity so you can see it a little bit better. Forgive me, this is the first time streaming with my 4K setup, so I've got some stuff to work on. But anyway, here's the game. So your RC car, so your camera stays in the same position and tracks the RC car as if you're standing on a driver's stand at a track or something. And so far, I really like the feel of it. It took a long time to get it to feel like arcadey, but still somewhat realistic, and also very unlikely to flip over and stay upside down. I mean, I don't think I could even flip it over if I wanted to. Let's see. Anyway, let's see. No, almost. So that was, there we go, upside down, but it lands back on its wheels. So I wanted to keep like the RC car feel, where you still feel like you're, sliding around and on the edge of control, but then also have it where I didn't need to model people out there flipping your car over if you got upside down, or do the respawn in midair and come back down thing. So I actually made it where it's very hard to flip over and land upside down. At some point, I'm going to have to make that respawn method in case you do find a way to land upside down. But right now, that's not what I'm going to do today. Today, if you look closely, you can see that the RC car is it's just a body. Let's see if I can crawl up this cone. It's just a body and 4 wheels. There's no suspension, there's no chassis. So I want to add those. It does have suspension. You can see the car leaning and the wheels, reacting, but there's no model showing the suspension. So I want to do that today, and also maybe if I have time, do the front bumper. And what I'm modeling this after is like a short course stadium truck RC car. Let me bring this over. Like a very popular one is the Slash RC truck. Oops. So images. So this is a very popular one. This is kind of what I'm going for, is I want this kind of RC car style. So they have these cool bumpers that come up and protect the front. I need to model that because right now I just have this big open gap. So I'll stop that from playing. And what I'll do is I have Blender open. Here's my model. I've already modeled the suspension and the chassis a little bit. So let's see, let me turn off some things so we can see it better. Let's turn off the body so we can see the chassis and the arms. Let's select the plane. Let's get rid of that too. There we go. So we can see a lot better of what's going on. So what I want is to export these models and get them to show up in Unity, and I actually want to make the A-arm follow the wheel rotate. So you can see I've placed the pivot points appropriately. So if I did like a rotate, not Z, so they could actually work like that in the game. That's what I want to do. today, hopefully. So what I'm going to start with is the chassis. I'm going to have just select this chassis, and I'm going to take it and we're going to export, and we're going to export to OBJ. I do most of all my modeling and exporting with OBJ, just something I've done. I wish I could zoom in on these a little bit and show you, but I had to change the Z forward, make the Y up to translate from Blender coordinates to Unity coordinates. We want to apply the modifiers, but what I want to do is I want to export selection only. And that way I don't want to export all the stuff in my scene. And so I'm going to just export this as chassis. Go ahead and export that object. Should be in Unity now, in my models folder. Maybe, maybe not. Let's see. Did I forget that to go? No, I did. Materials didn't get put in there. Models. Let's try that again. Let's make sure my path is correct. So I'm going to file, export, OBJ. Oh, I got put in the raw models folder. That's right. So something I do, I don't know if it's recommended or if it's best practices, but I have a raw art folder that holds all my stuff that's not going to be a game asset. I put everything in there first and then I transfer it over. So 1 second. Sorry, I was working off screen. So my Unity project, RC Offroad, raw art, and then inside here we'll see all kinds of stuff. This is stuff that's not going to make it in the final game. This is like the parts that I use to build up. So like my Blender files are in here, my Krita, however you say it, files are there. But I want to grab this chassis and I'm going to copy it. And we're going to go back and put it in the assets models folder. So now we should see it, and there it is. Okay, so let's land that model just right. So here's my truck. I'm not going to go into super detail about how I built this, but what I'm going to do is we're going to mount the chassis to the truck body because we don't want it to move up and down with the tires. We want it to move with the truck body. So what we'll do is I think I could just put it here actually in the meshes folder right under truck body and it should move correctly. So let me go ahead and chassis. And now you can see it's not in the correct placement yet, but everything is, let me turn off the truck body real quick. Oops, sorry, slash body. So everything's oriented correctly. And I think the reason why it didn't work correctly is because you see where the pivot point is on this model. It's not quite in the middle where I wanted it to be, but that's okay. We could easily just drag it forward like that. Let's bring the body back so I can see it. Let's go underneath. One cool trick I've found is you can use the little gimbal up here. For the longest time I didn't even know that was there to do all your alignment stuff. I think I'm going to go back just a little bit. Whoops. Body, not the chassis. Back just a little bit. It's not super critical because no one's really going to see this at the distance that we're playing this game. But just in case. And now I'm going to turn off the body and I'm going to drive around and see if the wheels work correctly. Still. And it actually looks kind of cool. Hard to see, but you could definitely see the suspension working when we go over these bumps here. So that's pretty cool. See there, the car tried to flip over, but it wouldn't let it. So let's look at the chassis. Let's make sure I don't have any mesh colliders or anything on there. Nothing they brought in for free like they do sometimes. It looks good. Let's see. I think that's pretty well. My car's, that happens sometimes. If I hold down a key and then change windows, that happens. But all right, so that's cool. That was actually pretty simple. Now we're gonna bring in the A-arms, position them correctly, and get them to look at the wheels during suspension movement, which might be a little hard. It's something I've actually been putting off for a long time. I know it's not going to add a whole lot of visual flair to the game, but it's something I want to do, but I know it's also going to be hard, so I kind of been putting it off, procrastinating, if you will. But so the chassis looks good, it's moving around. Let's move on to the A-arms themselves. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and cancel that because we did find it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna export. I have a right and a left model. I don't really need them since they're symmetrical along the Z axis. I'm going to have to, yeah, for the back ones, I probably should because they taper. So the back ones I'll probably have to export both of them, a right and a left, but the front ones are exactly the same. And with their pivot point and everything set up, I'm going to go ahead and export it again. File, this is going to be front A-arm. Front A-arm, and we're putting it in my raw art folder again. Selection only again, and then we're going ahead and hitting export object. This is a little bit extra work, but what it allows you to do is keep your actual game assets and your working files separate, so you don't kind of mudge them up. So we have our front A-arm right here, 3D object front A-arm, and we're going to copy that. And we're going to put it back in our models folder. And paste. Go back to Unity. And I have a front A-arm. So now the front A-arm, in theory, should be connected to the chassis. Right? So it's going to be a child of the chassis. That makes sense to me. Let's drop this in and see where it lands. So, child of the chassis, just like that. Boom! And look at that, it landed in place. I do notice that I have a slight issue here. My A-arm's going way into my wheels. Let's go back to the 3D model here in Blender. Ah, my wheels are way outside of my chassis and inside my game. How does that work? Bring back the body. Oh, let's see, the wheels are outside the body too. And in the game, I think they're inside my body. Let's turn the rendering back on. No, there. This is interesting. Let me hit play and see what happens. Let's go in. Okay. Silly mistake. So the way that I have my code set up to match the wheels to their rotation. So if I drive, how can I drive this thing? That's just moving my camera. Weird. Alright, let me split my screen real quick. So you see, if I drive, the wheels actually roll. Whoa. And they actually turn. So I have a script that actually sticks the wheels out a little bit. It matches with the wheel gliders. Not a big deal. Just I have to remember that when I position them, the A-arms, they're going to be a little funny looking because the wheels aren't in their correct place. Maybe I should fix that right now. Oh, that's pretty good. Separate that. All right, I'm going to put the other A-arm in, and then I'm going to move that wheel also. I'm going to turn the body back off because we don't need it for now. All right, so cool. We got one A-arm in there. It's in its correct spot. And now I need to put the other one in there. So I'm going to go back to the chassis, and then I'm going to drop in the A-arm again. But this time, I'm going to have to move this A-arm. And to do that, I'm going to move it over here. We're going to hit rotate. We're also going to do on its pivot point. That's interesting. Control Z. Whoops. That was a rotation. Okay, so the A-arms are actually messed up. The pivot point is in the center of the chassis, and I don't want that. So let me actually delete those. And this happens sometimes. Pivot points, I struggle with pivot points a lot. Moving from Blender into Unity itself. So there's a way to apply the pivot points. I'm going to have to look it up because Blender has 5 trillion shortcuts. Blender. Apply rotation. So yeah, there's object, apply, location, rotation, hotkey, Control A. Control A, rotation and scale, Control A, location. No, I don't want that. So hold on. Don't want that. What I do want to do is move its X, Y, and Z positions to 0. I don't necessarily need to move that one. I just wanted to move my X position to 0. So export this again. Let's try that. Front AR object. Now, again, front AR. Copy. Oops. I'm gonna paste it. It's gonna say yes, replace it. Replace it. And now in the chassis, let's try that one more time. Let's drop the A-arm onto the chassis. It's gonna be in the wrong position, but that's okay. It's gonna rotate in the correct method here. So let's go to the top, go isometric. We can zoom in. We're actually almost dead on correct. Something like that. But now, if we move the A-arm with the rotation, we should be okay. So rotation, yeah, now it's gonna work as expected. So we're gonna undo that. And then we need to put a script on the A-arm. We're gonna tell the A-arm, we're actually gonna put on the front A-arm object, not the model. We're gonna put it on here because if the coordinates aren't correct, we can actually rotate the model inside of the A-arm empty object. So we're gonna add a new script, and we're gonna call this A-arm motion. All right, so we're gonna open that up. It's gonna take a while. Nice Visual Studio takes forever. Should have had Visual Studio open sooner. Okay, so we have it here. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. What we need to do is we're going to take the A-arm, we're going to pass in a transform for it to look at. And then while it's looking at that transform, it's going to be rotating. So, very first thing we need to do is have a public transform. We're going to call this the tire. Like that. And then on the update, we need to say, look at the tire. So we're going to say this dot transform dot rotation. I think it's in rotation. I'm going to say look at. Is it set look rotation? That doesn't seem correct. Creates a rotation with a specified forward. No. So maybe it's transform dot look at. There we go. Look at. What are we going to look at? When it takes a transformer, we're going to say tire. And hopefully this works, but I'm highly doubtful that it's going to look right at the tire, but it might. Oh wow, look, I think it might be working. It's hard to tell. I think it is. Oh yeah, it is. That's super cool. Don't ever doubt yourself. No, I don't think it is working actually. No. We don't want to look at the tire. Maybe we need to put, where's that front A-arm at? Oh, I never landed the tire on there. Duh. So front, that will be the front left wheel. Oops. Cancel. Front A-arm. We're going to take the front left wheel and we're going to land it in the transform. It didn't have a transform to look at. That's why it was goofy. Now it's broke. Let's see. Truck. Yep, now it's funny. not doing anything correct. Now this part might be a little hard. Let's see, instead of the front wheel, maybe we need to use the wheel colliders. Let's give that a shot, see what happens. Sometimes it's just a trial and error, guys. I have no idea why it's doing that, though. Okay. Huh. Rotation. So Z rotation. I need to only do it Z rotation. Maybe there's an easier way. Need to look at So wheel collider, I'm going to put the wheel back, the front left wheel. We're going to look at the code. And maybe what I need to do, front left wheel, move it up and down, it's Y. Control Z. Okay. So we're going to make a new transform in here, or a new, I wonder if this can take a vector 3. Cancel. Maybe you get the script off of here in script. Move. Let's put it on the actual object and see what happens. And the front left wheel transform. All right. Maybe this will work, maybe it won't. Still does that weirdness. Rotates way out of whack. Doesn't seem to be doing anything. Okay. So again, I'm going to remove this script from here and put it back on the arm because it didn't make a difference. Arm motion. Front left wheel on there. Script. I'm going to change the look at, and I'm going to use rotation, local rotation. Does that have a look at? Vector 3, new. Vector 3. And we're going to say tire rotation. No, that's not going to be it either. Okay, when in doubt, sometimes you gotta look stuff up. So let's just look it up. Unity rotate object to look at transform. See, I've already looked at this once. Rotates the transform so a forward vector points at target's current position. Then it rotates the transform to point its up direction vector to the current direction hinted at the world up vector. You would think that would work, but it's not working. If anyone knows why this isn't working, feel free to interject. Rotate. Vector 3, rotate towards. This might be what I want. Rotate towards. So maybe I can say this transform rotation rotate Okay, we're going to store its current rotation into a vector 3. Vector 3 per rotation. So it's this, transform, local rotation. That's not going to work either. So this dot rotate rotate around rotate. Vector 3 Let's see if that works. That would be awesome if it does. Look at that. That's pretty neat. That is not what I wanted. Okay, well, I'm going to have to figure that out off screen because this is taking too long. What I will do, though, is I will put in all of the A-arms. We'll get the body back on, and then maybe we'll texture these wheels so they're not just straight black. So that's kind of a bummer. I'll figure it out later, and I'll do an update video. So in the chassis, we're going to drop another A-arm. Another front A-arm onto the chassis. Now this one should rotate. I could actually set that to -180. And we're going to move its position out. Until we're gapped correctly. Something like that. Alright, so let's play it. Let's take a look. We might not even do that rotation. Oh, still rotating like crazy. Didn't save my empty script. Alright. I may not even do that rotation because we might not need it. Especially at the scale that this game plays at. You might not even... The wheels going up. No, you're going to need it eventually. But for now, we don't need it. Let's drop in the rear A-arms now. So back to Blender. I'm going to get this and this, and what we're going to do I believe I'm going to try applying its location and see how it exports. So file, export, selected only. This one's going to be left rear A-arm. Go ahead and export it. Go grab it from here. Copy. I know this seems like a lot of work, but it's actually saved me in the past. Paste. All right, let's go back to Unity. Crap. Looks like I brought in everything. Why'd that happen? All right, try that again. Having some great luck today. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go like this. I'm going to open another one. And that way I can just copy from one, drag to the other. All right. New projects, Offroad, raw art, 3D model. Left rear A-arm, copy that bad boy. Let's put it into the models. It should warn me about overwriting. Yes, I'm going to overwrite it. It's so weird. It looks like we have some invert. That's why it's looking weird. We have some inverted normals. Normals are messed up on this arm. So that's really strange. Let's go to object. Huh. Alright, when in doubt, you gotta look it up again. Blender. Oops. Invert. Normals. Okay, so that shortcut did not work. Control N did not work. Do you have to be on faces? Okay, well I didn't see anything happen, but I'll go ahead and export this and see if it works now. Copy that bad boy, put it in here. Yes. Yay! That was a pain. I'm probably gonna have to do the same for the other A-arm. Go to edit mode, calculate, flip direction, calculate, file, export. Well, this is going to be right rear A-arm. Export that object. So let's find the right rear and copy it over. And inside the Unity, grab that chassis again and drag in the right rear A-arm. And our pivots are messed up. I'll do that later. I'll mess with that later. Because we're not going to pivot it. We're just going to play it like that for now. I might not even mess with pivoting them. Because the wheel's moving enough. Makes it kind of look like they are moving. That's funny. Let's bring back the body and see what this looks like. Let's run this thing. Oh, it looks much better when you catch air and you can see underneath it. You can see the body. I mean the chassis. The wheels look like they're hooked to something. Much better. Oh yeah. Got big air. Oh, I rolled it. Alright, so that took a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. I'm going to work on texturing these wheels a little bit. Because I want some rim color on there instead of just straight black like that. So we have to do that in Blender. Luckily, we only need to do it for one wheel. I'm going to keep all the wheels the same. And what we're going to do is we're going to do what's called UV mapping. That's where you take an object and you take, oops, I want to do a different one. We'll do that. We'll do this one. We're going to change the mode here to just solid. Okay, so where you take an object like this and then you kind of, for lack of a better term, rip it apart into like a flat 2D surface, and then from there you can paint on it. So we're actually going to change this view to UV Unwrap Image Editor. We're just going to say new. It does not need to be 2048 with 2048, but we'll start there. I can scale it down later. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is mark all of our seams. This is where the model will kind of be split, if that makes sense, like where it'll be cut. And I'm going to do it all around this edge. Now I'm sure there's an easy way to like select loop. Some of you smart Blender people. I am not that smart at it. So I'm just going to select all the way around. And then go to our UV tools over here, and we're going to say mark seam. Now if I unselect, you'll see this orange seam. Now if I select everything and go to unwrap, and unwrap, boom, you can see what happened. This is actually the top of the tire and a little bit of the sidewall, and then this is the rim area. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mark a seam across the top too, so this splits into a straight band. That'll make it a little bit easier for us to do like a tire pattern on it. So go ahead and unselect that. We're going to take right here, we're going to make it a seam, mark seam. And what we'll do is we'll select everything again, and we're going to say unwrap, unwrap. And it did a little bit better, still curved unfortunately. Let's see if I can do anything about that. Doesn't look like it. I wonder if I take all the seam, let's see, let's clear the seams off, hit unwrap. That's terrible. That's definitely not what you want. But I'm going to change the seam to this top section here like this. I think I could say select edge ring. Oh, it didn't work. Select edge loops. Oh, hey, look at there. Learn a new trick. Mark seam. And then I'm going to mark the seam here. Say it all again and unwrap. There, that's what we want. Okay. So the top of the tire here, not going to need a whole lot of fidelity because it's just going to be sort of like tread tire on the tread on it. What I'm going to do is select the face mode, and I'm going to select all these faces and move them. Get them away from the tire itself. And I'm going to move them over here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this and I'm going to scale it up. We want to have more area to paint on this than we do the rest of the tire. So with that, like that, what we can do is we can say export UV, and then we can bring it into the paint program and start painting on this. What I want to take note though is that this outer ring is the top part of the tire. This is the sidewall. I'm going to make these two the bead lock for the rim, and then the rest of this rim all the way in. Okay, so now that I have that in my mind, I'm going to go ahead and go UVs, and then somewhere in here, export UV layout. Again, we're going to put this in our raw art folder, and we're going to call this rim UV. Rim UV. Okay, so export the UV layout. We're going to open up Krita, whatever. I just got this program. It's open source, sort of like Photoshop replacement, and I'm actually really liking it. It has taken me a little bit of time to get used to, just because it's not exactly like Photoshop, but it's pretty darn good. So we're going to open up that file we just created. Here it is, rim UV. Go ahead and hit open. And you'll see we have layers over here. We're going to make a new layer. This is the guide layer. And this will be my paint layer. So let's name them just to make it simpler. Okay, we're going to start off simple. We're going to paint the whole thing a black. That actually kind of backfired. Oh, I know what's going on. So in Blender, when you go to export UVs layout, they have this fill opacity down here. I usually like it at 0. So we're going to replace that. What that'll do is there's actually some color to this. We don't want that. So let's open up that same rim UV, make a new layer on the paint layer. Oops. Go ahead and drop that black on the whole thing. Now if we bring back the wires, I don't know if you'll ever be able to see it, but bring back the wire framing, we don't have that issue we had earlier. So now I'm going to do some selecting, the polygon tool. We're going to select on this layer, and we're just going to select this inner part. In fact, I probably don't have to follow around the mesh, right? Because we don't want to follow the mesh exactly. Let's go ahead and make this thing. Oops. This might be hard to do. Let's make the circle kind of smooth, you know? we need to make it bigger. So what I'm doing is I'm holding Control to constrain the size of the circle, and then tapping O or Alt to move it around. Okay, so that's selected. Let's hide this. We're going to paint this. This is going to be the rim color. We'll just use our fill bucket. Boom, like that. Bring back that so we can see where that bead lock will be. Alright, same thing. Shift click, make a circle. Alt, drag it around. Actually, I want to go for the inner circle a little bit.
Should I play inner circle?
No! Alexa, you go to sleep. Okay. Let's get rid of that. This would be more of a chromey color. And now what we can do is deselect everything. And now I can paint this outer ring like a color to match the car. Let's go with the red. Ugh. Don't know why it's doing that. So it has some weird things. Krita definitely has some weird, Krita, whatever you call it, has some weird tendencies. Like I want to just paint that circle. What the hell just happened? Magic wand, that. There we go. Does some weird stuff sometimes. Alright, so we have our bead lock around the tire. We have the tire itself. We probably should put some lug nuts in there. Let's see, make them round. Oh. I need to make a new vector layer if I want. Yeah. So it is sort of does some vector work. It does pixel work. It's interesting tool for sure. Like that. I want the inside painted too. I don't really know how to do that. Okay, well, those are going to be our lug nuts. And we're going to put them around the rim. Probably could get mathematical about it and place them using the lines coming off as an angle guides, but we're just gonna go close enough, something like that. All right, that should be good enough. I'm gonna turn off the wires and we're gonna export this as a PNG. Well, first we're gonna save it as a Krita file. Krita, whatever. Nope, not a brush preset. And we're going to change it to call rim paint. It's not just the UV anymore, it's the actual paint. And then we're going to save it again. Save as. We're going to save this one as a PNG. Rim paint. Okay. Let's open up our file explorers again. And we're going to find that rim paint. PNG. Copy that. We're going to put that in our assets, materials. Okay. Now we need to make a material inside of Unity and place that on the tire. So let's select the tire, front wheel. I actually already have a material applied to it. So let's go ahead and put this on that material. And we're going to change the color to white. And it doesn't seem like it did anything. Materials. Oh, I know why. Because the wheels were exported before I had my texture map. So this isn't going to actually... I have to do it over here. Okay, so now we're done with the UV mapping. Let's go ahead and close that. I forgot how to close those. Is it Alt drag? There we go. All right. Let's go ahead and put texture on this tire now, and then we'll export the tire again. Unfortunately, we have to do that. So we're going to load an image, new, untitled, what? No, open. Rim paint PNG. Now if we change this mode to material, not material, rendered. Huh. I don't know why the material is not applying. Had to actually make material first. There we go. And we're going to apply the same one. Apply it to all the wheels, I guess. Not rim UV, damn it. Rim paint. This is so messed up. I don't know what's going on. Texture 2, material 2. Okay, well, shoot. We got one wheel here with good texture on it. There we go. There's my materials. Those wheels were not unwrapped. Okay. Damn, this is gonna suck. Ah. All right, there we go. I just need to export the wheels. Export the wheel again. File, export. I actually don't have the wheel in here. Wheel. Go back in Unity. Really wanted to get this done. It doesn't look like I'm going to, unfortunately. Okay, wheels. We're going to add in our truck wheel. All right, I'm running out of time. I'm not going to get it done. I really wanted to have that done. Where the hell is this wheel at? Yep. Sorry about that, guys. Not going to get it done today. Shoot. Yeah, not going to happen. Well, anyways, we got a little bit further. We got a chassis, got some A-arms. Looks a lot better with the chassis and the A-arms on there. I might still work on getting those A-arms to follow the wheels suspension travel. But for now, it's just going to stay like that. I'll finish it, and then I'll make an update video showing the work and how it turned out. All right, well, thanks for joining. Sorry I kind of stumbled around it. That happens sometimes in game development. As you're working on stuff, you gotta look stuff up. Stuff doesn't work out like you think it should, etc. That's game development in general. Anyways, again, if you enjoy this, if you want to keep up to date with this game, want to see my progress as I'm doing it, if you want to play along, give me feedback, subscribe, hit that little bell icon so you'll be notified when I post new videos. If you're on Twitch, go ahead and follow me. I'll be streaming development on and off as this project continues. All right, well, take it easy. We'll see you next time.